They
Well, hey, y'all. Welcome to TLT with Lita. I hope that you are having an amazing day. Listen, I got a question for y'all today. Have you ever taken time off, but your mind never clocks out? If you have taken time off and your mind never clocked out, that's not a rest problem, y'all. That's an open loop problem. A open loop meaning unfinished decisions, unspoken conversations, unkept commitments. So today's leadership tip is this: close the loops before you go rest. Close your loops before you go and rest. Today, we want to have a conversation around how leaders create peace, not pressure, and how we do this before going into the holidays. Let's talk about it. So, welcome on YouTube, welcome on IG, welcome on TikTok. I'm glad that you all are here. I'm excited and ready to jump in. Let's go. So, let's talk about it. There are times, and I like to use myself as an example. There's been many times where I have taken time off. I can remember way back in when we would get 30 days of leave in the military, and I would take time off, but I would still have unfinished business that was left back at the office. So we're going to talk about that today because many leaders take time off physically, but remain mentally on. You remain mentally still clocked in. And we'll talk about some reasons why leaders do this. But we need to know this, that unfinished business, loose ends, all these unresolved decisions, they're going to follow you to your place where you should be resting. They're going to follow you. So this discussion again is around closing those loops, making those decisions, having those conversations, completing the commitments and the projects, so you can truly unplug. That means really unplug and not have to check in, not have to pull out that MacBook, not have to make phone calls, to really be present and enjoy the holidays without the mental clutter or the leadership guilt, because this is the truth. Rest hits different when nothing is chasing you. Rest hits different when nothing is chasing you, nothing is hanging over your head, nothing still has a deadline when you go to rest. So, let me ask you this question: have you ever taken time off? And when you took that time off, you had so many other things that you were still trying to do when you should have been resting. That's unfinished leadership, y'all. It's unfinished. So, what unfinished task or conversation keeps showing up in your thoughts? Just think about it. Which ones keep showing up that you still need to handle, you still need to deal with? And so, what we want to do is get ahead of that and get those things done in this week so that next week during the holidays, we can really unplug, put your feet up, take a nap, eat too much, all the things. We want to be able to do those things when we take that time off to rest and spend time with family, those of you who have family, and just enjoy the holidays so you can rest well. You want to rest well. That's right. Let me adjust this camera over here. All right. So we want to be able to rest well and not resting with one eye open. Let me tell you what open loops do to leaders. This is something that I know is true. Open loops create mental fatigue. It can create emotional tension. It can create anxiety during the time you should be resting. And it can cause you to have to make reactive decisions. And you don't want to make decisions based off just reacting, and you weren't prepared for it and you weren't ready to make the decision. You want to get ahead of it. So when leaders show up as those who still have stuff that need to be done, when you leave to go rest, you're not going to rest. And when you create these situations, because the open loops are still there, they're going to show up like this. They're going to show up like unfinished conversations. They're going to show up like unclear priorities. They're going to show up like unresolved conflict, and it's going to show up like delayed decisions. And we don't want that to happen this holiday. We want to close out this year well and enjoy the fruit of our labor. Your mind can't rest where your leadership hasn't resolved things, resolved whatever needs to be resolved. Your mind won't be able to rest no matter how much you tell yourself you will, because leaders who really care don't just say, I don't care. Leaders who truly care about the people they lead and about the business that they own and about the business that they have about themselves, when they really truly care, they don't say, I don't care. So let's talk a little bit about why leaders struggle to close loops, because this is something that I want to make sure that I convey, that I am not oblivious of the fact that sometimes we have a whole lot of things going on, and there are some things that we just cannot get done in the span of time that we have in many occasions. But there are some reasons why we struggle to close loops. Avoidance of difficult conversations is one of them. If it's something that you feel like this is going to give me a headache, you don't want to, you rather just put it off. So that can be one reason why that we don't close a certain loop, is because of a difficult conversation. Another reason why is perfectionism disguised as waiting on the right time. I'm guilty. I'm guilty, because sometimes that perfectionism will make you feel like, or even make you think, or even say, it's not the right time yet. I'm waiting on the right time. When the truth of the matter is, if you're about to go and take some time off and rest, the right time is now. The right time is before you go and take your time of rest. Another reason why we struggle with closing loops is overcommitment without follow through. Sometimes we do overcommit ourselves. We have a lot of ambition and many things that we want to accomplish, and sometimes opportunities open up, doors open, and we don't want to turn them away. But sometimes we have to say no to some things because we don't want to overcommit ourselves. And that's another reason why we don't close the loops that we need to close. And the last reason I want to give you is this fear of disappointing people. Sometimes people lean so heavily on us. Instead of us saying, no, I can't, I won't be able to do that. Instead of saying that, we do it, or we say we want to do it, or we commit to doing it, because we don't want to disappoint people. And the fact of the matter is, somebody's going to always be disappointed. Everybody's not going to be satisfied with your decisions. Everybody's not going to be okay with your no. But you have to know you and know that, you know what? I'm not going to be able to do that. And you have to be okay with people being disappointed. It's okay. It's okay. Because leaders don't burn out from work alone. Sometimes we burn out from unresolved work. That same thing that we keep is on the list. We know we have to do it, but every week we push it back. Sometimes the burnout is not the work alone. Sometimes it's some things that we need to resolve before we go take time off. And so that's what this conversation is around today. If you know that you're dealing with this right now, just put a yes in the chat or put that's me in the chat, and let's just kind of help each other. Let's help each other by just having the conversation, number one, and then number two, let's give some solutions. Let's figure out what we need to close before we go rest. There are, I believe, four critical loops that we need to close before we go rest. And that first one is decision loops. Make the decision or schedule it. That's simple. Either make the decision or schedule it for a later time. Then that way it's not hanging over your head. Because this is the thing, clarity creates calm, even if the decision isn't perfect. If people are clear that, hey, he's going to make or she's going to make this decision when we get back after the holidays, then people can rest with that. It will give them a sense of calmness to know that, okay, we know this is still out there, but we're going to schedule it for later. If you need to make the decision and it's an important decision that needs to be made before you leave, then get your team around you, your team leads or whoever is going to help you make the best decision in the time frame that you have before you go, and close those decision loops. A second critical loop is communication loops. We know already that there are just certain conversations and certain communication that must happen. Sometimes you got to say it, and everyone may not agree or everyone may not be happy about it, but say the thing kindly, say it clearly, and say it now. Say it kindly, say it clearly, and say it now. Because delayed clarity is disrespectful to peace. Delayed clarity is disrespectful to peace because if you try to have some peace when you know it's a communication that you should have had or some conversation that needs to be had, it's going to disrespect your peace in some way because it's going to be on your mind. So close those communication loops. The third critical loop to close is commitment. Close those commitment loops. Finish it, delegate it, or release the commitment. And this is what I've learned over the years. It's okay to change your mind about something you thought or you said you would do before because situations change. Um, Details change. And sometimes we have to say, you know what, I thought I was going to be able to do that, but I have to release myself from that commitment. I'm not going to be able to do that. So finish it or delegate it. And if you can't finish it or delegate it, release the commitment. Go ahead and get that stress off your head. Go ahead and get rid of it. Stop carrying promises you cannot keep. You're going to relieve yourself of some real pressure and stress because you won't be trying to do it just because you said you'd do it, but you reserve the right to change your mind, look at your circumstances, and make a different decision. All right. And then the final critical loop, I believe, is the emotional loops. Process what the season stirred up. Sometimes you got to do it by journaling, praying, reflecting, or find a trusted person that you can talk it through with. But close those emotional loops. Unprocessed emotions follow you into your rest. And you got to figure out how to get it out so that it's no longer weighing on you and you have closed that loop. So journal it, pray about it, reflect, or talk it through with somebody who is a safe person. All right. So those are the loops, y'all. Close those loops before next week. Close those decision loops, those communication loops, those commitment loops, and those emotional loops. Close them so you can really unplug, so you can really enjoy your holidays, and so you can really um, feel what it is to say, you know what? I enjoyed that's the best Christmas I ever had because you closed those loops and you were able to really rest. So let me ask you this question, and we're going to get ready to close this out. Name one loop that you need to close this week so you can rest without guilt. One loop, just one. Name one loop that you need to close this week. It has to be closed this week before next week so you can really rest and not feel guilty about the rest. And I encourage you, if you don't want to share it here in the chat, share it in the comments on the post. Those of you all who are on TikTok, you can go to my IG page, share it, hashtag lead with Lita, and hashtag close the loop. And just let's close these loops out today. So this week rather, not today, so that you can really enjoy next week. So I want to leave you all with this closing thought. Rest is not a reward. It is a requirement. So, closing those loops is key and critical to you getting the rest that you truly need. And rest, it only works when your leadership is clean, when it's clear, and when it's complete. So, close the loops, then rest well. That's what I want to leave y'all with today. Close the loops, y'all. And enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. It's been amazing. Share this live with someone who needs to close out some stuff before they go. Some of you who work under other leaders, you know that there are things that need to be closed out. Share it with them. Sometimes that leader may need that reminder of things that haven't been closed out before you all go on holiday. Share it with a leader who needs to close some loops. All right, y'all. It's been great. Until next time, have a wonderful evening. And we look forward to the next Tuesday Leadership Tips with Lita. Peace, y'all.